Guys, guys, I don't know how I missed this. This is huge. Okay. Oh, I know how I missed this because this was published in March 2019. Okay, guys, this is what I'm talking about. All right. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Do y'all remember my star vote report that I put out? Well, if you'll go and look at that, there are hyperlinked links at the end of that report for you to go and look through and verify everything that I'm telling you. Okay, let's just see what this is all about. Travis County Clerk Dana DeBevoir's longtime dream of a secure electronic open source voting system with a voter verifiable paper record has come back to life in an unexpected way through the United States Department of Defense. Let that sink in. In 2005, to address concerns about the transparency and security of electronic voting machines, DeBevoir partnered with computer security experts to create an extremely secure voting system that was easily auditable and produced a paper trail. She and her partners dubbed the system StarVote, short for Secure, Transparent, Auditable, and Reliable Voting System. That's what I wrote my report about. The development of StarVote stalled in 2017 because no company was willing to create the open source software that would make StarVote freely available and publicly accessible. That kind of access would allow independent security experts and the public to quickly catch and fix problems that could make the system vulnerable to hacking. Since then, StarVote has existed only in a scientific paper online, but that's about to change. The scientific paper is this is linked. Oh, go away. Oops. This is linked in my report. Okay, so you can read that. It's in my StarVote report, available on takingbacktexas.org and on Telegram. On March 14th, and this is in 2019, at the Election Verification Network conference in Washington, D.C., Oregon-based cybersecurity firm, I guess that's Galois, announced its $10 million contract with the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency to develop an open source voting system embracing the StarVote principles. That's Darpa, guys. Darpa bought StarVote. Darpa is known for creating transformational technology, including the internet. And oh wait, y'all might want to run that by Al Gore. Automated voice recognition and language translation, and the GPS transmitters in consumer devices. Yeah, they're the ones that are tracking us everywhere you go. That's DARPA. Joe Kinnery, principal scientist and research lead for the Galois project, said by email that the firm is creating a software-based voting system demonstrator that will run on secure hardware created by DARPA. Yep, that's what they said. They said what they said. Kinnery, whatever, expects the demonstrator to be publicly available after it's tested by hackers and researchers at the computer hacking conference in DEF CON in August. Yeah, at DEF CON in August, whatever. So that's happening. So that happened. Once the voting software is made public, companies are welcome to explore ways they can use it for profit, Kinnery said. But enabling business is not Galois' goal. Quote, the prime customer for the work is DARPA. The whole point is to have a compelling demonstrator running on top of secure hardware that normal folks can understand and that can be attacked during DEF CON, Kinnery said. This is so weird. I just can't deal. DeBevoir said open source software is, quote, kind of like a paradigm shift. It gives everybody in the marketplace the opportunity to come up with better, smarter election security and voting equipment. For nearly 200 years, American elections relied on paper ballots and later punch card systems or mechanical lever voting machines before electronic voting machines gained wider use in the 1990s. The use of computerized, well, also you got to take into consideration the fact that the federal government is limited in mandating states to use computerized voting systems. So the way they managed to flip us all is to financially incentivize the adoption of computerized voting systems through the Help America Vote Act. So mention that too. The use of computerized voting systems soared once thank you. Once Congress passed the Help America Vote Act in 2002 after problems with paper ballots muddied the 2000 presidential election results in Florida. Yeah. You got to do what you got to do to obtain, the ends you seek, right? Right, Darpa? Wait, you know who else? Doesn't DARPA also own LifeLog, which is Facebook? Electronic voting machines offer several practical advantages over hand-marked paper ballots. They can provide a range of accommodations for disabled voters, as required by the Americans with Disabilities Act. And that's arguably true, so go ahead and have a voting machine in each county. A voting machine in each county, or two maybe. Additionally, they can easily display a variety of ballots. On election days, hundreds of thousands of Travis County voters from more than 240 precincts can vote in any one of 80 polling locations. Because they do countywide polling place programs in Travis as well. So every polling location must provide each voter the correct ballot for their precinct, written in both English and Spanish. This is 2019, so they weren't doing Vietnamese yet. Now they got to do Vietnamese. Luckily, the Vietnamese vote overwhelmingly red. But like any other computerized voting machines have the potential to be hacked or to malfunction. Do they? This was in 2019, before they abandoned this position entirely. Quote, frankly, the security community prior to 2000 hadn't paid attention to these electronic voting machines, said Dan Wallach, professor of computer science and computer security at Rice University and a co-author of Star Vote. It wasn't until 2007 that I and others were part of found just how bad they all were. By then we were stuck with them. No, we're not. Dan, you're such a dork, Dan, I swear. He's the token skeptic. He's the skeptic of computerized voting systems to make it seem like any team that he works with to create a computerized voting system, they invite skeptics to come and give in, so he's the planted skeptic, okay? But he's not really, he's happy to create a computerized voting system. Since 2002, Travis County had used the Hart InterCivic eSlate voting system, which does not offer a voter verifiable paper record. Yeah, the only record for those are the CVRs, the cast vote records. Oops. During the 2018 midterm elections, which is when Tarrant County flipped blue on paper for the first time, a handful of voters using the same machines around the state reported that their straight ticket votes appeared to have changed to candidates of the other party in some races. Hart InterCivic called it user error. You stupid voters, you don't know what you're doing. The absence of a paper trail meant that it was impossible to assess how many votes had been erroneously changed. In 2018, Travis County contracted with ES&S to purchase ExpressVote electronic voting machines that provide a paper trail, which allows independent auditing of election results. The feature fulfills the 2018 recommendation by the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine that all elections should be conducted with human-readable paper ballots. National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, you just made my list of NGOs. Because what you're saying is arguably sounds good. Oh, they should be human-readable. Because they should be hand-marked, hand-counted paper ballots. Maybe on that we agree. Yet a paper trail creates additional challenges. Oh, of course. Okay, here we go. Voters must verify that the paper ballot produced by the ExpressVote machine matches their choices. And a 2018 study from Georgia Tech showed that nearly half of voters using the machine didn't bother to check. Of those who did, more than 50% failed to recognize errors. Maybe because your ballots are stupid and they're not hand-marked, where you wouldn't have to have you see guys, like, you just creating unnecessary steps. Like, a voter should be able to mark their ballot, see that they marked the choice that they wanted to, and then go and cast it. But instead, you make it complicated. Oh. The security model for ballot marking devices requires the voter to be part of the policing of the system to make sure the system is operating correctly, said election auditing expert Philip Stark. Are they just calling in all the plants for this article? Associate Dean of Mathematical and Physical Sciences and professor in the Department of Statistics at the University of California, Berkeley. Quote, and it just doesn't work. Yeah. So he agrees that at this point, before Philip Stark abandoned this position entirely, before the globalists successfully pulled off their rig, he believed that there were too many issues with the computerized voting systems. Because if there was an error, the voters wouldn't even notice it because they're not used to double checking stuff that they shouldn't have to double check because they should be allowed to hand mark them and see the first time that they marked the right one. So, but Philip Stark later ends up abandoning this position entirely, along with all of these people, because they are the plausible deniability the globalists needed to make it seem as though we're the crazy ones, guys. Debevoise said she will make sure voters know they must check their paper ballots by including that information in the upcoming public education campaign about the new voting system. Right, because people give a shit about this kind of stuff. I mean, we do, but we're nerds. Voters can, quote, spoil or discard any ballot that is incorrect and get 3 tries to vote a correct ballot per Texas law. Travis County has 790,000 voters, and I have to touch every single one of them, if I can, to explain to them what the new paper trail is before the county's new system is used for the first time in November, Debevoise said. The paper ballot produced by Express Vote includes both text and a barcode, which also contains the voters' choices. Okay, total is necessary? I don't know. The voter reads and verifies the text, but the vote counting machine reads the barcode. This opens the possibility, however remote, that the votes counted via the barcode differ from the text that the voter checked. So this article is willing to cover that, but I bet this author won't touch this subject in 2022. Quote, this is widely considered to be a poor engineering decision on the part of the vendor, Wallach said. Okay. I mean, okay. I want to do one of those memes where I have Dana Debevoise in 2018 and then Dana Debevoise in 2021 when she stepped down. Let's see. A post-election risk-limiting election audit, a statistical method of counting samples of the paper ballots to verify the election outcome, a fake audit. They left that part out. Now, maybe they'll cover it. I wasn't sure if they'd cover the HAVA, but they may. Maybe they'll mention it in a minute. Can mitigate the risk of discrepancies between the barcode and the text, Wallach added. Debevoise said she will roll out the first risk-limiting audit in the state for the November election. So this is November 2019. That's when the first Texas RLA was ordered. The audit will check the voter-readable text, not the barcodes, on samples of the paper ballots to provide evidence that the election outcome is accurate. Well, then, what the hell? Well, wait a fucking second. They just said that the concern was that the barcode doesn't match the text. And if the machine is scanning the barcode and they're not checking the barcodes to make sure that that says the same thing as the text. This is why Dana Debevoise is she's such a Disney villain. She's very I don't know. She gives off kind of zany, Cruella de Vil vibes. You know what I'm saying? And she's very much a character. That's the kind of dumb shit I'm talking about. Travis County has addressed other security questions about the express vote system, according to Debevoise. Poll workers will record election data on removable media, thumb drive, CD, etc., and physically walk them from place to place to maintain separation from the internet. No, don't y'all go and plug them in. I wonder if Travis County has been using the rally sites and rally stations and then the towers to transmit unofficial results wirelessly through the internet to their central counting station on election night. Like we're doing that in Tarrant. I wonder if that's something that Travis County is doing or was doing at that point. Debevoise and Stark differ on whether ballot marking devices such as the express vote are vulnerable to hacking. Debevoise says the machine is equivalent to marking ballots with a typewriter. Stark respectfully disagrees and says express vote is a computer that is, quote, easy to hack. Okay, he no longer believes that. He's been convinced otherwise. Regardless, professor at Berkeley, been convinced otherwise. Regardless, Debevoise said that, quote, if there's a voting machine that anybody has a question about, Travis County automatically takes that machine out of operation and quarantines it for the duration of the election. Okay, look, complain about them all. To quarantine them all, we're going to have to hand mark them. A standard procedure in effect since 2001. Voters can make complaints about potentially malfunctioning machines to election judges at their polling places, she added. All right, soldiers, you know what to do. Meanwhile, election security is poised to enter a new era once DARPA and Galois' open source voting software becomes publicly available. While she is not involved in Galois' development project, de Beauvoir, who has 32 years of experience running elections in Travis County, hopes to contribute when the software is close to completion by helping to ensure the system is, quote, practical concept that will work on the ground. De Beauvoir said that the 15 years she spent working on Star Vote really was, quote, a labor of love, and that she feels lucky that DARPA and Galois have decided to give it new life. At the announcement of the contract on March 14th, Kinnery was, quote, nice enough to call me out and say thank you, de Beauvoir said. I love elections. This is the heartbeat of democracy. Yeah. Yeah. Long story short, DARPA purchased the Star Vote system. Okay? Give yourself a clap on the back, de Beauvoir. You fucking did it.